Are you the reason you're still single? That's what I'm going to be talking about today. My name is Brian Mercier, and you probably know me as a Christian speaker, but I also speak on motivational topics as well, like love and relationships, self-esteem, how to find happiness, how to find peace, and so much more. And I've spoken on love and relationships, and I've counseled couples, countless couples, on how to find true love for like 20 years. I've read countless books on it, and I was the kind of guy when I was younger who didn't date that often, so I watched all my other friends date, and I watched all the mistakes they made, so I could see what to do and what not to do and put it into better practice in my own life. So in this video, we're actually going to be talking about, are you the reason you're still single? And these are the 6 top reasons that I found in my life why people who are getting up there in age are still single. I'm sure there's more reasons than that, but these are the top 6 reasons that I see. The first reason is people who are overly strong or overly talkative. And some people who have overly strong personalities can actually unknowingly keep people away through their actions, through their thoughts, through even a handshake, sticking it all the way out with it's very hard and very rigid, and you're unknowingly sending signs that you don't want to be approached, that people shouldn't get to know you. Stay at a distance. So watch yourself and watch how you present yourself to people. Now, I know one girl who went to some Catholic match dates, and she said she went on a date with one guy who talked about himself the entire time. He talked and he talked and he talked, and she couldn't get a single word in. And every time she tried to, or even if she did get a couple words in, he would always bring the conversation back to him and tell her how great he was and what he does and what he likes to do and what a swell guy he is and all of that sort of thing. Now, she couldn't even get a word in. So it goes without saying that date only lasted one date. And she didn't want to go out with him again because he talked too much. Are you the reason you're still single? If you're talking too much, and if you have an overly strong personality that you might want to look at and reflect on, that might be one reason. Number 2 is that maybe you talk too little or you're too weak. So many people are actually weak and they come across as shy and they come across as timid. And I actually used to read girls magazines. No, I didn't. No, I didn't read girl magazines. No. What are you talking about? But I do know these facts that might come from girls' magazines where it says that girls, be careful if you are a shy person, because most often shyness comes across as snobbiness and it comes across as I'm not interested. So be very careful if you're a shy person that you're not sending off the wrong signals to somebody and that you're not sending off signals that you don't want to, saying I'm not interested, having closed off positions just because you're shy. Reflect on that. Think of who you are, and maybe it's something that you need to improve on. Likewise, the same girl who went out on a date with the overly talkative guy, her second date was with the complete opposite man who didn't talk at all. And in fact, there were so many awkward silences that she had to fill them in every time. And why did she have to do all the work in the conversation? And why did she have to do all the work on the date? Obviously, they never had a second date either. One talked too much, one talked too little. We need something in between. So that's number 2. The third reason is similar to the second one, and it's being too passive. It's not doing what you need to do. For example, a lot of men and a lot of women, I see this all the time in young adult groups, and I hear it a lot as complaints from both sides, is that neither men are asking women out and women aren't doing anything to show men they're interested. Now here's the problem, because a lot of women were like, well, I want to be pursued, and I want a strong man to take leadership and to lead me, and I totally get that. I understand that, and you should. A man should pursue you and he should lead you if he's interested, but don't be confused with that, with him asking you out or him telling you that he's interested and he'd like to get to know you better. Don't get confused with that, which is his job in a sense, with your job in a sense, which is to let him know that you like him. It's okay to flirt. It's okay to, show him that you like him in some way. I mean, after all, if you're just being like this, all closed off, and, he doesn't sense that you're interested at all, of course he's not going to ask you out. Of course he's not going to be interested because you're giving all the wrong vibes. But if you're smiling and you're laughing at his jokes and maybe you touch him on the arm or, you just give these little ways that you show him that you're interested, you're not pursuing him. There's a difference. You're not pursuing him when you're doing that, and you're not making the first move. You're just showing him that you're open to him, that you like him, or that you're interested in him in some way. And so that's good, because a guy's much more likely to ask you out if he's confident that you like him back. See, the reason we guys ask girls out, and it's not the other way around, and it's because we want to be the ones who sacrifice. We want to be the men. We want to put ourselves on the line and experience possible rejection so you don't have to. Now, a lot of women are saying, yeah, I know, but men aren't asking us out. I mean, we see men all the time and they talk to us and they seem like they like us, but they're not asking us out. And that's a huge problem today, that guys are not asking women out. We've kind of become cowards in a lot of ways, and you can thank cell phones and social media for that, because we can just hide behind little screens and text you from a distance and pretend that we don't have to put ourselves on the line. We don't have to rise up to the occasion. We don't have to put on our big boy pants or do anything anymore, because we can just ask you out through text. That's wimpy. And breaking up through text is even wimpier. We need men to start raising up. I agree. But let me give you women, just a little helpful advice. If a guy does not pursue you, and if he does not ask you out, he is not interested, period. Or he is not strong enough to ask you out. He's too shy. He's too weak. He's too passive. And you don't want a guy like that. You want a guy who's strong, who will pursue you, who will treat you like a lady, and who will treat you, put you first before everyone else. So you want a guy. If a guy's not asking you out, either number one, he's not interested, or number two, he's too weak, and you don't want either one. So stop waiting for guys that aren't pursuing you, and stop, holding on to them, and wait for other people who are going to pursue you. Guys, if you're the guy I'm talking about and you like a girl, well, gosh darn it, ask her out already. Just ask her on a date. It doesn't have to be this big cataclysmic thing. It doesn't mean you're going to get married. If you're interested and you just want to get to know someone better, ask them out for coffee. Ask them out to a movie and a dinner. Just go out with them, talk to them. You don't have to go out with, again, both sides. There's no pressure to go out with someone on a second or third date. Dating is just getting to know a person. Little D dating, not, committed big D dating where you don't date other people, but you can get to know people on these little D dates, and that's great. They should be low stress. They should be fun, and you should leave friends, or at least getting to know each other a little bit more. If it doesn't work out, that's fine. Because as long as you're dating someone you shouldn't be dating, you're not dating the person you should be dating, and you're keeping them from being with the person that God has for them. So if you're afraid to hurt someone's feelings, all you're doing is releasing them to be with the person that God meant for them to be with. Because if you're not that person, that means they're out there. So in closing, step up, guys. Ask girls out. Start asking people out. If you have awkward social skills, get some books or counseling and fix it already. So many girls all the time, I think the biggest complaint is all the socially awkward guys who are coming into the groups and doing nothing about it and just being weird. Stop. We can fix it. We can grow. We can become the best version of ourselves, as Matthew Kelly says, and we need to. And girls, you need to step up too. Show a guy that you like him. Be interested, but don't fall head over heels for him. Don't give your feelings and your heart away so quickly that you fall for them even when they're not interested. I think this is one thing that we could both work on. If both sides start working toward it, you'll find yourself less single. The number 4 reason why you might be still single is because you are compromising. You're afraid of being alone forever. You fear that, and these fears are getting into your mind, and so you compromise and you date people that you have no business dating. You know in your mind that they're not right for you. You know in your heart that this is not the person, that you're just doing it out of loneliness or fear or some other reason, but they're not the one for you. And you make all these excuses and justifications, but I just said this, I know, but as long as you're dating somebody who's not meant for you, then you're missing the person that God has meant for you. And maybe if you've been dating someone for years, sadly to say, you may have missed the person that God had for you because you were in a relationship you shouldn't have been in, and you knew that. And so I want to challenge you not to get into compromising situations where you date someone who's not for you, where you date someone where you compromise your morals, you compromise your standards, or you compromise something else that you hold dear and that you want. Don't compromise. Trust God. Wait for Him. Wait for God to give you something, even if you have to wait a lot longer like I did. I didn't date for years at times, but I waited for the one that God had for me. And I can guarantee you it's always worth the wait. And when you date someone that you're not supposed to date, and especially if you stay with that person, it's always destructive, and it may even destroy your chances of finding that person God has for you. The number 5 reason you might be still single is because you're not willing to sacrifice. You're not willing to do anything. You're not willing to get outside your comfort zone. You're not willing to get outside your small little box, and you're not willing to go where the people are. Like, let's say you work, all week and you're just tired, and Friday and Saturday night comes around, you're like, you know what, I just want to stay home. I just want to watch Netflix. I just want to relax. That's fine. But a lot of people find themselves doing that all the time, when in fact, all these Catholic and Christian young adult groups are meeting other places, and they're having all these fun times where singles are, and you're just too tired. And so you know what? You need to suck it up. You need to actually make the sacrifice. You need to go to where the people are that you want to meet. Because if we don't, it's not a surprise that we're still single. If we stay in our house all day long and we don't really get out and try to meet people and go to where the people are, like if you love sports, then go to a meetup group or something where people love sports. If you like dance, go to meetup where they go to dances. Go out to dances, meet people, talk to people, start conversations with people. You don't know how to do that? Pick up a book. Animals don't learn like we learn. We have critical thinking skills. We can learn the stuff that we can't do, but we're so passive that we just don't do it. Sorry. So many people make excuses, and that's why they're still single. Now, you need to make the sacrifice if you want to, find someone. If you're a Catholic, go out to Catholic groups, go out to Catholic churches, go out to the meetup places and be there, but make the sacrifice and do what you need to do. Stop being lazy. That might be the one reason you're still single. The 6th and final reason that you might still be single is this: that you're not willing to change. You're not willing to grow, and you're not willing to sacrifice and make the decisions that you need to. For example, this is split into 2 parts. The first part is we're too picky and we get stuck in our ways. That's a huge reason why some people are still single. They're too picky. You have one image of what you're looking for, and if anything's outside that image, if someone's not as attractive as you'd like, or is not as, well built as you'd like, in the body, or whatever the body type is, well, then you have this narrow view of what you want, and it's already really difficult to find people. So you need to actually expand the qualities that you're looking for and look for more important things. Like, for example, if you're Catholic, are they Catholic? That's the most important thing. Are they trustworthy? Are they virtuous? Are they friendly? Can they make sacrifice? Are they going to sacrifice for you and your kids down the road? Those are important qualities you want in someone, not hotness. I mean, if someone's not as hot as someone else, go with the person who's not as hot, even though they're still somewhat attractive and they have all these other great qualities. For example, if you like someone who's strongly built and you have to have a strong person in your life, well, they might be strong on the outside, but that does not mean they're strong on the inside. Or if you like someone who's, let's say, soft or tender or sensitive, and you keep dating guys like that or girls like that, and then they're too passive or they're not what you're looking for, and they just bring you to frustration all the time, or you just can't find what you're looking for in the first place, then you need to expand your horizons. You need to date people that you wouldn't normally date. You need to get outside the box, and if that scares you, then the problem is probably with you. And that's another issue in itself. If we're always finding faults in everyone else and we keep going from person to person to person to person to person, the problem's probably with you. It's probably with you and not all of the other people. There's probably some intimacy issue that you have, or some trust issue that you have, or something else that you really might need to look at and really do some self-reflection at. Because you don't want to keep going from person, 1, 2 dates, and then nothing's ever good enough. No one's ever good enough. You always have an excuse, and it's probably the reason you're still single. So expand your horizons. Give people a chance that you wouldn't. And again, you don't have to go on 1,000 dates with them, but hey, it might work out, and you might be pleasantly surprised. In my life, I wanted a little bit taller, blonde hair, big blue eyes, soccer player who was athletic and fit and really liked to have a lot of fun. That was my ideal. I mean, I did like brown hair and big brown eyes as well, but I ended up with a girl who was shorter with brown hair and green eyes, and she was an artist, and she sat behind a computer all day and didn't really do sports, and completely different than I would have ever expected. But you know what? If I had gotten what I want, I would probably be miserable today. And in fact, God gave me what he knew was going to make me happy and what was going to make me holy. And today we have a successful and happy marriage because I waited for the person that God sent for me. So expand your horizons. The second half of this is us. We have too many problems. We have too many issues, perhaps. We have too many things in our life that are destructive or that aren't good, and they push people away or they keep us away, and we're not willing to work on them. I mean, some people say like, well, that's just me. I mean, this is me. I'm not going to change. You hear the common things like, well, I'm Italian, I have a temper. Or I'm German, I drink a lot. Or I'm Irish, I drink a lot. I mean, we hear these things all the time, but those are not you. They're not. They're just excuses so you don't have to change. Well, I'm a man, I just have those needs. This is what I need. No. You don't. You can change. Anyone can change anytime. If we said that when we were 10, and some people are still act like they're 10 today, but we would still act like 10-year-olds. The fact is, here's the biggest thing you want in a relationship. You want to find someone who's not a stubborn mule, someone who's not stuck in their ways, someone who's willing to change, someone who's willing to grow, someone who's willing to work on their faults, to see their faults, to commit to working on them, because otherwise marriages are just miserable. And if you're someone who has maybe intimacy issues, maybe trust issues. Have you ever read a book on how to overcome that? Have you ever read a book, a self-help book on how to become a better person, how to communicate better? Maybe you don't know how to ask a girl out. Well, look up videos on it. Do some work. The reason we're still single is because we refuse to work. We refuse to sacrifice. We just get set in our ways and we don't really want to change. But the more you change yourself, the more you get rid of the baggage, the more you empty yourself of the bad and fill it with the good, you're making yourself more marketable. You're making yourself more desirable. And when you get married, you're going to have a much better marriage because all the baggage will be gone. So do the work. Do the work. This is probably one of the most important things I could ever say is do some self-reflection. Think about your issues. Think about the things you might need to work on and set to work on them. That will really help you to find somebody a lot quicker, as opposed to, it's scary to say, but you might never find someone if you never fix yourself and if you stay in your issues. So work on them. If you need to listen to these video suggestions again, feel free to go through them again. I see them all the time. I know what works and what doesn't work, so please take them seriously. I know there's more than 6. If you think you know some, or if you have some frustrations with the guys and girls and things you see, feel free to put them down in the comments below. Get a conversation going. If you agreed with this, if you disagreed with this, let me know. Let's talk about it. But these are important to think about and important to pray about. And I want to thank you guys for watching my video today. And if you think it's important, please share it with others. And if you think it's important, like it so that more people see it. Thank you, and God bless. Have this kind of fence that they have up. It's kind of like a border or a wall that they keep from people. Some people have overly strong or overly talkative personalities. The overly strong types can unknowingly. Number 4. Am I on number 4 or 5? I'm on 5. All right, here we go. The number 5 reason you might be that you're not willing to change and you're not willing to grow. Now this tier has the 6th and... You like someone who's, let's say tender, or the second half of this is that we're too